Hi, I'm Cheetah HAC. I am so excited that your makeup should be arriving soon, and I bet you are dying to know how this all goes together and how you're gonna make it work. So if you got the palette 12, it'll look like this. It has a mirror on top, a top layer, and a bottom layer. All of your makeup is going to arrive in these individual tins, so you will just pop them open like this, place them in your compact, just like that. Make sure they're all the way pushed down, and then they won't fall out or go anywhere. You can keep these lids because you can easily just pop them underneath that corner to pop them out and move anything at any time. If one of these is empty, chuck it. Get a new one, pop it in, just like that. So now that you know how to set up your compact, what I normally do is keep all of my face makeup on the top so you can see my brightening shade, main shades are over here, contour and bronzer, and then an illuminator. And then on the bottom layer, I have 3 different lip and cheeks and a handful of eyeshadow. So this just gives me a lot of options. I don't have to make a lot of changes to my palette. I can just take this and go and still have options if I'm doing my makeup on the run. How do we do our makeup? Let's do a beginning Cheetah hack. So, just put my brush down. The 2 brushes that I recommend the most often to people are the detail brush and the blush and bronzer brush. And this one just blends really well and this one applies really well, and I like them both, so I use them both. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to use a combination between my finger and the brush so you can really see how this works. So I'm going to start with my contour, and you can either use the brush to apply your makeup, just like this. Right, so I'm doing all my contour. I have to look at myself in the mirror while I do this. Okay, so that is the beginning of contour. Or you can do the exact same thing with your finger. So if you don't want the extra brush, or if you just like using your hand for your makeup, you can do that too. I'm just using my finger and lightly tracing underneath that cheekbone, underneath that jaw, and around the forehead, and you can see it's very similar. No problem. Some people don't like to touch their makeup, so lots of options. I'm gonna go into my brightest shade right there and do a little dot in that inner corner, right underneath that outer part of the eye. I'm gonna go right in the middle of my forehead, on top of my lip, on my jaw, and then I'll also come down my nose. So with my finger, what that looks like is right there, and I just pick a different finger. So I use my contour for this one, and I'm gonna use this one for a brightener. That's it, and then I just keep a towel handy or napkin or whatever and do it that way. Okay, so that's brightener. And then I have these microfiber cloths that I like to keep. And then after that, we're just gonna fill in the gaps. So I use the same end of the brush the whole time. I'm gonna go into my main shade and then just start working around. And you're not gonna see it very well in the video because it matches my skin tone. And just kind of fill in the gaps. I like to do one little dot under my eye. Go around like that. And then I come down the side of my nose. Okay, so that's it for the brush, and then I'm just gonna blend. So I use 2 different fingers. I'm just gonna go into a 3rd finger now and do the same thing on this side. So you can save this video, make sure you come back to it, watch it as many times as you need to while you're doing your makeup. You can also follow me on social media. I do my makeup live all the time. I go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. You can find me literally everywhere, and there's tutorials, and you can always contact me. You are never without makeup help ever again. Okay, so they look pretty much the same, right? Brush or dots, either one is totally fine. Just gonna wipe my hand off and then show you what that looks like to blend it out with the detail brush. I'm just going to push up like this on that contour. You can even start with the lighter color if you want, and you're just going to press and blend. If you have more mature skin, definitely use this motion called stippling. So you're just going to push, 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 and blend it out like that. You're not gonna do a lot of swiping, okay? Either way is totally fine, but if you have mature skin, make sure that you are pressing that makeup where it goes. We wanna be really careful around fine lines and wrinkles, so especially around the face, you can do that. You can also use your finger to just let it warm up and blend in those areas, okay? And then we're gonna blend that out. I'm pressing and blending around the lips, pressing and blending here. Then I'm gonna go back in and finish with contour. Okay, for contour, I'm pushing up and into that cheekbone so that it really gives dimension under the cheekbone. That's what I want. And don't worry, if you make a mistake or you put too much on or too little, you can always go back and fix it. This is all cream, so it all talks to each other and blends beautifully. Okay, so that is super basic way on how to do that part. I don't have any eye makeup on, so don't judge. If you want to add bronzer, you can do the same thing. This one is going to be more of where the sun is going to kiss your skin. So I'm putting this kind of on top of the cheekbone. The contour goes under, bronzer goes on top. If you're using the brush, I switch over to my blush and bronzer brush. I get that brush really fluffy, go into the bronzer, and then I'm just going to kind of sweep it. So 2 different styles of application there. I don't dot it typically with the detail brush, but you can. This is my favorite way to add bronzer, with this big detail brush. And then over here, I use the smaller side if I'm going to blend it out like that. But you'll notice you're going to get the same look, and that's great because you have so many different options on how you want to apply this makeup. Okay, so you can pause this video, you can slow it down. I recommend watching this video while you get ready a few times. I like to bring like the excess bronzer, so I'm not going to re-dip it, and just kind of touch my nose and kind of come across my cheeks. That way it looks more cohesive and not like this giant bright white triangle in the middle, right? It really looks more sun-kissed. And you can even bring, again, just the remainder down to kind of blend out that contour and just make it a little bit more seamless. Very last step is going to be lip and cheeks and illuminator. So lip and cheeks are down here. You can either use your finger, let's do candy, fun one. Use your finger, pop that on the outside. You can't see that very much. Let's do a darker color. So here is sandstone. You can just pop it on the outside like that and blend it. I like to use the blush and bronzer brush for this. Just going to lightly blend and kind of stipple that same motion. Keeping it nice and wide on the cheek. And then it's just going to blend out really pretty. And you can put as much or as little as you want. I just did those 2 little dots, so you can imagine this lasts forever. Okay? Or you can just tap a little bit. Again, apply it on that outer part of your cheek, right in the middle there. Like the middle, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then just blend. If you like having it more on the apples of your cheeks, you can come back and just dust that little extra right there on your cheek for a little extra shimmer. Totally good. You do you. And then illuminator placement is going to be on top of the cheekbone. So I use my finger again. This is a color called Chandelier. And I'm just going to gently put that right on top. If you'd like to put it on with a brush, you absolutely can. You're just going to dust it on really lightly. And so I just tap, tap, and then you can just put that right on top. These are all creams, so they all talk to each other unless you get a powder illuminator. Okay, so that is it, and then you're gonna go into eyes and go from there. But that is the basic on how you set up your palette and how to do either the dot or the brush method for application. Let me know if you have any questions.